Have you ever thought about how much your emotions influence your health? Our guest today, veteran holistic physician Dr. Bradley Nelson, is one of the world's foremost experts on natural methods of achieving wellness. He is the author of the best-selling book, The Emotion Code. It explains how to identify and release trapped emotions that block us from wellness. Today's guest is Dr. Bradley Nelson. Welcome.
Great to be here, Adam. Thanks for having me on.
Sure. We're going through somewhat of a rebirthing process as we transform from something somewhat of a polarized system in this country. We're being challenged to either remain outward, or we're having the opportunity to go inward to really grow and to uncover our lives. We have the opportunity to get into the certain conflicts or emotions that we might have suppressed or pushed aside. And your work specifically gives everybody the opportunity through your book that you've written, The Emotion Code, in 2007, I believe. And
it came out in 2007, and then we republished it a couple of years ago as hardcover.
Okay. And your app, which is the Discover Healing, which is wonderful. I've been using it myself, and I've been watching many of the videos that you've put out, which are motivating and inspiring for people searching to find answers for their inner conflicts and how they show up in the body. Maybe you can just give the audience a little background on how you came to this, the work that you're doing presently.
Absolutely. Well, my journey really started when I was 7 years old. I was really sick with the measles, and I had overheard my parents talking about the plan for me, and I knew I was going into the hospital the next day and did something called an oxygen tent. And I didn't know what an oxygen tent was. The tent part sounded kind of fun, but I was too sick to think about camping. So my parents had made a bed for me on the couch near their living room, or in the living room, so I could be near their bedroom. And this particular night, I'm lying there on the couch, just feeling really ill. And everyone else had gone to bed. And my parents came into the room, and my mother said to my father, she said, "Honey, will you kneel down with me and say a prayer for our boy so he'll be able to get well?" So they did. They knelt down by the side of the couch, and my dad starts offering this prayer. And knowing my dad, it was probably the first time I'd ever heard my dad pray. My dad was a contractor, he was a realtor. And anyway, in the middle of this, so he wasn't some kind of healer or anything, but they were very worried about me. I was really sick. And in the middle of this prayer, I have this change that happens to me, this amazing, incredible thing. It starts at the top of my head, and it goes whoosh through my body to the soles of my feet, and I was instantly made well. Now, I held my tongue till my dad was done praying, and then when he was done, I said, I'm better. And I remember that like it happened yesterday, and it was a long time ago now. But to go from being really sick one moment to being totally well in the next instant is something that you can't ever forget, right? It's impossible to forget. It's burned in every particle of my being. So that taught me a really profound lesson, that there's a higher power that we can draw upon and get help. And, so that stuck with me. So then years later, I developed kidney disease, and there was no cure for me, nothing available for me in Western medicine. My folks took me to see some old time osteopathic doctors. They started working on me and realigning things and giving me things. And within just a short time, I was better. And the disease that I had, Bright's disease, was about 50% fatal. And so I knew that what they had done was exactly what I needed. So, fast forward, I got involved in computers and computer programming, but I had decided at that point at age 13 that that's what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be a healer like these guys. And so I got distracted with computers and things and became a computer programmer. And then it was really a very powerful answer to prayer that brought me back to the healing path many years later. And so when I got into practice as a chiropractor, eventually a holistic chiropractor, I felt like, well, God's gotten me into this. Maybe he'll help me with these people that need help. And so I developed this habit. And the habit was right before I'd work on somebody, right before I would do a treatment on someone, I would just take a moment and just have this momentary pause and ask God to help me with that person. And, and most of the time it wasn't, the responses weren't real noticeable, but I think that, but let me tell you something, there were times, I think when we ask for help from up above, I think the answers always come, but they don't always come right away, or they don't always come in ways that we expect. Right.
Right.
And, what happened to me was there were about 4 or 5, I think 5 different occasions during all those years where, in response to that silent, short, quick prayer for help, the information that I needed would just flood into me like an avalanche of data and understanding. And it was an amazing thing, but that didn't happen very often, right? Over 20 years of time, about 4 or 5 times that happened. So what I learned is that these bodies of ours are incredibly complex, but can be very, very simple. Right. And what I found was really the subconscious mind of each patient of mine knew really what was wrong with them. Now, consciously, when a patient would come in with some kind of a diagnosed issue that they'd been told was hopeless, consciously, they didn't know what was really going on with them. They didn't know why they were so sick. Their doctors consciously didn't know why they were so sick. And I didn't know consciously why they were so sick. But their subconscious mind, that internal computer within them, knew exactly why they were sick, why they were having all the symptoms. And so what I learned to do is I learned to really kind of bypass the conscious mind and just go straight to the subconscious and ask questions and get answers. And it was an amazing thing. And for the last 10 years of my practice, especially, most of the people that I saw had been told there was really no hope for them at all in Western medicine. And the vast majority of them were able to get well, with just a couple of exceptions, over all those years, because I knew how to ask questions. And because I'd had this background before as a computer programmer, you see, it had really prepared me to deal with this ultimate computer, which is the human body. Right. And that same intelligence within you that is creating, millions of new red blood cells every minute, and that can take a ham sandwich that you had for lunch and it can convert that into new cardiac muscle tissue and new nerve cells. I mean, it's an order of intelligence that's really beyond our ability to comprehend, really. It's the science of God. And we can observe the body and we know what it does, but exactly really how it does what it does, we really still don't have a clue. But the bottom line is that the future of healing, I believe, is going to be along this line, accessing the subconscious mind, asking it why a person is sick, what they really need, what they need to be totally healthy, what they need to have removed or added, so they can manifest perfect health and wealth and abundance and love and everything else. It's all in there in that subconscious mind. So that's been my path, really. And I left practice in 2004 because I knew that this understanding had to go out to the world. And I wrote the emotion code and published it first because people had to know that the vast majority of the mental and physical and emotional symptoms that we have are really due to our emotional baggage, those trapped emotional energies from those experiences that we go through that we haven't really processed. And so those energies are stuck inside of us. Getting rid of those, 80% of the time, you'll knock it right out of the park when you're trying to help somebody just by removing their emotional baggage. And that was huge. That had to go out to the world. But then about a year after the Emotion Code book came out, I had this experience, Adam, where I woke up one morning and my mind was full of instruction, and the instruction was very specific. And the instruction was, you need to take everything that you've learned about natural healing and put it into a self-study course that anyone can learn and make it available to everyone, everywhere. That was it, verbatim. And I remember thinking, well, are you sure about this? This sounds like it could actually require some work on my part. And it did. It took about a year to put together what we called the body code. And since then, we've translated it into a couple different languages, and it's available now online as presently it's called the Discover Healing app. We're going to be changing the name of that before long to the Body Code app, because that's really what it is. It's the Body Code. Right. But anyway, the Body Code is this this other method that I developed during the time that I was in practice, what I found, because I was a computer programmer, I always had a computer there so I could catalog things and log the things that I was finding on my patients as I was asking their subconscious minds what they needed. And what I found was there are really 6 different kinds of imbalances, you can say, that cause all of our physical and mental and emotional symptoms, all of them. And those are things that you might intuitively think of, like, for example, nutritional deficiencies. If you don't have enough vitamin C, eventually you're going to develop scurvy, right?
Yeah.
If you have lesser deficiencies in things like vitamins or minerals, things like that, then you might not be, you might not feel really great, but you might not manifest some huge disease. You might have misalignments going on in the bones or the soft tissues of the body that can create trouble for you. You might have some kind of a pathogen, like a coronavirus or maybe some other kind of a bacteria or parasite or fungal infection. Those can make you sick. There's toxicity. Of course, we live in a very toxic world. A lot of the food that we eat is toxic, especially if it's been processed. There are imbalances in the energy field, like trapped emotions, like I just talked about. And then there's also imbalances in the circuitry and the systems of the body. So what I was able to do is catalog all the things I was finding over all those many, many years working with people who were very sick with all kinds of problems and people of all ages and so on. And eventually I was able to put that together into this system now that anybody can use. And it's just a matter of learning how to ask questions. And the interesting thing about it is the subconscious mind is really what you'd call a binary computer. It can answer you with a yes or a no, but it can't really elaborate. And so depending on how you formulate your questions, you can get answers pretty easily from the subconscious mind, and really anybody can do this. So
Yeah, it's very fascinating. I tried it myself. Specifically, as we look at the conventional medicine itself, which somewhat suppresses the subconscious mind into numbing or protecting the outer shell of our body from actually going inward or actually investigating. And it's very insightful to be able to do this type of work, because each step, like you said, is like peeling an onion away of getting to the core of what the specific issue is. I know, for example, for myself, I had a specific ailment, and I tested it on your app, to see specifically what it was. And it's just very fascinating, because so much of the time we spent trying to go outward to run away from ourselves and not feel. And one of the specific subjects that you bring up is the heart wall, which is that actual protection of not really feeling. And I know for myself, I've been going through a period during the last 2 years of, I'm writing a book, so I'm actually retracing the traumas in my life and feeling it now. And I really want to dart for the door, but I have to sit with it, or I'm trying to sit with it. And I do feel that heart wall and that heaviness in my chest, as you describe in many of your interviews and you talk about. Maybe you could just get into what the heart wall is and how that emotion of keeping the heart contained stops us from really growing or finding out the foundation of our trauma.
yeah, absolutely. Well, it really, the beginning of this, I think, in the modern era goes back to the 1960s when doctors started doing heart transplants on a more routine basis. And it didn't take long before they noticed that certain patients would come back and they would report strange things, like their taste in music had totally changed, or their taste in food or sports. Or sometimes they would have memories, they would tell the doctor, of being in places or cities that they never in their whole entire life had visited. And now they had memories of being there and doing things. And sometimes they would report that their handwriting had totally changed after their heart transplant. And in every case, when these people were connected with the family of the heart donor, they would find out, oh, yes, that's our son's handwriting that you have. And how bizarre is that? Or, yes, our daughter visited Rome every year. She loved Rome. And now you have memories of being in Rome. And yet you've never been to Rome in your life. Those must be her memories somehow. That's bizarre, right?
Wow, yeah.
Well, what we believe now is that the ancient peoples who understood that the heart was the seat of the soul and the source of love and creativity and romance and the core of our being. That's what they believed. What we now know and what we're finding out is that apparently they were right. And there are studies now that have shown that the heart is the most powerful organ in the body by far, and it puts out this very powerful energy field. And that heart beat, if you're feeling love or affection for another person, that heartbeat will become measurable in their brain waves. And so there's this connection going on between all of us all the time. And it's interesting. I believe we're living in the age of the heart. And so what happens to us sometimes is that sometimes we go through something difficult. Maybe we lose someone close to us, or maybe a relationship ends, or we get divorced, or someone dies. And so we feel like our heart sometimes is going to break. Most of us have felt that feeling. It's a physical sensation. Like it might feel like there's an elephant sitting on your chest, or like you can't breathe, or like you're choking when you're really being hurt or abused in some way, or something's going on that's just really breaking your heart. And that's where that word comes from. And so, or that phrase, heartbreak, that's where that comes from. When you feel like your heart is going to break, your subconscious mind will try to protect your heart. It'll try to defend your heart. And so what it will do is it will put up a wall around your heart. And that wall is an invisible wall. You can't see it, but it's there. And that wall is made from layers of your emotional baggage, from your trapped emotions. And so it's a great short-term protection for your heart, and not a good long-term protection for your heart. Because what happens is when you put up a heart wall, when the bombs are falling, it's like moving your heart into a bomb shelter or a bunker, right? The problem is when the bombs stop falling, when the bully moves away, or the divorce gets finalized and you move on with your life, yet your heart is still living in this bunker. And the problem then is that it makes it much more difficult for you to really connect with other people. It makes it more difficult for you to give and receive love, and to really manifest the perfect blueprint that lies within your heart of your own life. Yeah. And so, so getting rid of the heart wall is something that we teach in the Emotion Code book. Anybody can do this. You can do it yourself, or you can go to discoverhealing.com and hire a practitioner to do this for you. But when that wall is taken down, people often report amazing transformations in their lives. People fall in love who never thought they would, even sometimes in advanced ages. And people have creative ideas that start to flow spontaneously, and people feel joy and peace for the first time in their lives. In fact, people have told us, quite a number of people have told us over the years, that for the first time in their life, when that heart wall was taken down, they could actually feel the love of the Creator for them. So it's a profound thing. One of the things that I found when I was in practice, working with all of these people that were all so sick that they'd been told that there was no hope, that they'd never get well, one of the things that I found with every single one of those people was that they had this phenomenon going on, this heart wall phenomenon. And so it became a very important piece of the puzzle, helping them to get well, removing that wall around their heart. And it's just a wall that's put up, made of your emotional baggage. And, one of my favorite stories actually from the book about this was a young woman, she was 38 years old. She came in to see me because she had this severe neck pain. And she'd seen a couple of other doctors for it, and they hadn't been able to help her. So as I was talking with her, she told me that she was single, she was a nurse, and she hadn't dated in 8 years and was never going to date again. She was committed to a celibate life. Right. And she was an attractive woman. And I said, can you tell me why? What happened to you? Why do you feel that way? And she said 8 years before, she was really deeply in love with this guy who dumped her and broke her heart. And so guess what? I found she had a heart wall. In other words, she had put up this wall to protect her heart. There were three emotions there, three layers, three trapped emotional energies. And it's easy to find and identify these. It's all in the book. But anyway, I cleared those three layers, and each one of those trapped emotions had gotten lodged in her body and wrapped around her heart during the breakup from 8 years before.
Right.
So when I cleared the last one, all of a sudden she said, my neck pain is gone, just completely gone. It was like a 9 on a 0 to 10 scale when she came in. And anyway, she left the office feeling totally fine, and it didn't come back for 3 months. And when she came back in the office, I'll always remember this. I looked at her in my hallway and I said, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you for a while. How are you?" I remembered immediately, what had happened with her. And she said, she said, "My neck has been fine since I was here. But," she said, "you cleared that heart wall from me. And that really works." She said, "About 2 weeks after I was here, I found out my childhood sweetheart has been living right around the corner from me for almost 8 years. And we're dating and we're in love. And I think he's going to ask me to marry him." And I just thought, wow, what a huge shift, to go from being celibate to almost engaged.
Right.
But that's not unusual at all. See, when you take down that wall, then suddenly that heart can connect with other people, and you can feel love and give love more easily. Because love is not only a verb, it's also an energy that we're generally not aware of, but it is an energy. And so this is really one of the most fun and most powerful aspects of the emotion code is about the heart wall. And I mean, I could tell you stories for hours and read testimonials. We have 10,000 testimonials, well, over that now, that we've gotten from all over the world. There's not a single day that goes by that we don't get some kind of a testimonial from somebody somewhere in the world. And we've certified about 8,500 people so far as practitioners of the emotion code in about 80 different countries. And so those are people that many of them are doing this for a living, but you don't have to become a certified practitioner. If you want to use this on your friends and your family members and so on, you can learn how to do it really easily yourself just from the book.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that as I know for myself from Chinese medicine, in terms of the organs and the specific places in the body, that specific emotions do get trapped, or there's an emotion tied in with a specific organ. And it's interesting how your work breaks down these specific organs, and generally was specific for me, I think. And maybe we'll have the opportunity to just look at the app and discover the emotion code and the body code if you have an opportunity to do that, to pull that up. We can.
Sure. Absolutely. Let me bring that up right now. Here we go. So
this is the app that's on Android or on your iPhone, or you can pull this up on the computer as well, correct? Obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Right now it's called the Discover Healing app, and we'll be changing the name. If you don't see it under that, you'll see it under the body code app. But right. So this is the app, and you can see you got the emotion code chart here. So the way that the chart works is there are 60 emotions on the chart, and it's divided up into 2 columns, column A and column B. And then we've got 6 rows here. So 60 emotions. And the beautiful thing about this is because the subconscious mind is a binary computer, you can ask questions and get answers, and very rapidly you can zero in on whatever emotion you're looking for, whatever it might be. And so to give you an idea, I remember I had a patient that came into me once. She was about 42 years old, as I recall. And her problem was that she had panic attacks, and she had them regularly. But what she had found is that her panic attacks would occur at the same time that there would be an earthquake somewhere in California. I was practicing down in Southern California. And if you've ever lived in California, you know that on the news, about every other day or so, they'll announce, oh, there was an earthquake today. It was only a 2.3, and it was in, Lake Elsinore or whatever. And nobody could feel those, but they would announce those. Well, what happened with her was she would have these panic attacks, and her coworkers started to recognize that when she had a panic attack out of the blue for no reason, The only correlation was these earthquakes, these little earthquakes that would happen.
Wow.
So she came into the office to see if I could help her. And what we found was, by asking her subconscious mind, she had a trapped emotion of terror. And you can see that emotion right here. So how this worked was, if you can imagine, this woman's in my office. I have her hold her arm out parallel to the floor. I ask her to resist my downward pressure. And then I start asking questions. And the question that I asked was, well, do you have a trapped emotion that is contributing to your panic attacks? Right. And the answer came back strong on her arm. So she was able to resist me. That was a yes. Now, a no answer would make the arm go weak. So that was a yes answer. So I asked, well, is this trapped emotion in column A? No. So that meant it was in column B. So is it in one of the odd rows? Yes. So is it in row 1? No. Is it in row 3? No. Is it in row 5? Yes. So I'm getting answers from her subconscious mind. So right. Is the emotion conflict? No. Is it creative insecurity? No. Is it terror? Yes, terror. So then I asked, well, do we need to know more about this? Yes. And when did this happen? And by determining when this occurred, we were able to figure out what had gone on. And how I did this is I asked, did this occur earlier than age 20? That was a yes, strong. Did it occur earlier than age 10? No. So did it occur around age 11, around age 12? It happened around age 12. And she immediately perked up and said, okay, I know what this is about. And I said, what happened? And she said at age 12, she was living in Landers in California. And that was when they had the big earthquake in Landers. Wow. And their house was near the epicenter. And their home was, really heavily damaged. And she was terrified. Well, that emotion of terror was so powerful, it became trapped in her body. But what was interesting is somehow that trapped emotion of terror was connected to the earthquake in such a way that whenever an earthquake would happen, she was so tuned into what was happening with the geopathic stresses in the earth, wow. She would immediately have a panic attack. And when we release that trapped emotion, which just takes a few seconds of swiping, down the governing meridian, that was it. She never had another panic attack. And it was just that one trapped emotion, see? So you never know what you're going to see with the emotion code. It's really interesting.
Yeah, one thing I did notice watching some of the videos, and for myself included, I think we hold on to some of the issues that we're so used to holding on to, that the layers that you reveal in this app and in the work you've done give you no choice to escape really what the answers are. Basically, yeah. It gets to the core of really what the problem is. And then I guess each time another layer is revealed, a person becomes more comfortable actually subconsciously releasing it and then revealing it.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you think about it this way, this work really came about in this practice of mine where I've got a room full of people. Imagine having a room full of people that have been told that there's no hope for them. And I would book my appointments in 10-minute increments. So I didn't have a whole lot of time. I was trying to help as many people as I could. And so I had to really be fast. And that's how this really developed. And so, if we go back to, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, maybe you could try it on me if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you have anything particular you want to address?
Well, physically or emotionally, or both?
Either or whatever.
So when working the charts, mm-hmm. Since there's an emotion code and a body code, if a person's dealing obviously with an emotional issue, they're going to go to the emotion code first, correct?
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, the way that it works is if you just have the emotion code, then you just use the emotion code chart. If you have the body code, then that opens up all these other possibilities. And one of the things that we teach is, and one of the things that I have found really is that anything can cause anything. Right. In other words, the body is so complex.
I'll give you an example for myself. I was going to say, so I'm in a state of stagnation. I feel I'm standing still. I'm afraid. Okay. I'm afraid to move forward. And I
Okay.
know through your testing that you do the muscle testing and the finger testing. And yeah, so that's one of the things that's going on with me, along with a right elbow pain.
Oh, you want to work on that? The right elbow pain?
Okay, let's see what we
Okay.
get.
All right. Yeah, let's see what shows up. So let me ask you something. How bad is it, 0 to 10?
I would say now it's not as bad. It's probably a 3, maybe a 3 or 3 to 4,
3 or 4? Okay.
if that. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So yeah, let's take a look. So first of all, you need to understand that energy medicine has been talked about for quite a while now. And there are many prominent scientists and physicians. Dr. Oz, for example, said energy medicine is the future of healing. But the quantum physicists that understand the body and what the body really is, now the body really works, have been talking about it for a much longer time than that. So there are some deep principles in quantum physics, and we use those principles to connect at a distance and help people at a distance. And so in practical terms, how we do this is, first of all, we take a moment and we ask for help from up above, okay? I like to do that anyway, and that's what we teach people. We all have different beliefs. It's not some kind of it's not so much a religious thing. It's just a connection to whatever. If you believe in a higher power, ask for help, okay? Because I think we need all the help we can get. I know I do. So give me just a moment here. Okay, great. So now let's see if we have a connection. Now I'm going to be doing what we call the ring in ring method here, okay, of muscle testing. So I can muscle test myself. Now this is in the book. You can learn how to do this. And the way that it works is when I am asking questions of my own body, for example, if I ask for a yes answer, the rings will tend to stay together when I try to pull them apart. If I ask for a no answer, then the rings will break open. So as I'm talking to your subconscious mind, it's going to be communicating to my subconscious mind, and the answers will manifest as either strength or weakness on my body. So the first thing I want to know is, I want to know if our energies are really connected. If our energies are entangled, there's this principle of entanglement in quantum physics. I want to know, are we connected energetically? And the answer there is yes. So those energies of ours are entangled to a point where I can ask questions and get answers. And there's no barrier of distance to this at all. We've tested it. It works at least with distances at least as great as the diameter of the Earth, okay? And probably much further than that.
Yeah.
So we're connected energetically. So I want to know, is there an underlying reason why you've got this elbow pain? And the answer there is yes. And that's coming from your subconscious mind. So now what we have is we've got this chart of all the possibilities. Now, these are just the first 6 imbalances. Okay, this is home page. Okay, there are 6 categories of imbalances. And your subconscious mind knows exactly why your elbow hurts. Now we can decipher the reasons why your elbow hurts by asking these questions, as long as they're yes or no questions. So first question is there a reason why your elbow hurts? Yes. And is this reason somewhere in the left side of the chart? Yes. Great. So we've narrowed it down. It's not on the right side of the chart, this first reason. It's on the left side. So is it an energy of some kind? Actually, no, that's weak. So is it something in circuits or systems? Yes. So we'll click on that one and we'll go there. So now we're 2 levels down in the body code. So now let's ask, what is this? Is it something on the left side of the chart? Yes. Is it a disconnection of some kind? It is. So we'll go here to disconnection. So is it something on the left side of the chart? It is. Is it a physical disconnection? Yes. So it's this one right here. Now, one of the things that I found, you'll see it says pregnancy related here. That's really about morning sickness. And this is one of the answers that I got when I was in practice. Was actually not with a patient, but with my wife. We have a daughter who is 21 and the last of our 8 kids. And when my wife was pregnant with her, she was really sick with morning sickness, begging me to help her. And I was thinking about all the things that we've tried that don't really work. And so I said a prayer and I said, Father, help me to know if there's a better way to do this. Help me to understand. And boom, I got this answer that it was about the connection between the mother and and the baby. And if there's a disconnection energetically there, then the result is morning sickness. So we have people now in the world who practice and just specialize in working with this, which is really interesting.
Yeah,
but anyway, what's going on with you is a physical disconnection of some kind. So when we get right down to it, you'll see we've got an explanation page that comes up with telling us what's going on here, what this is. And this is a breakdown in communication between two adjacent body parts. And so let's go ahead and decode this. And I'm assuming this is the elbow. Is that where this disconnection is? Yes. So do we need to identify more about this disconnection? We don't really. So let's go down to the association area and we'll ask, is there an associated imbalance that needs to be decoded? And that answer is yes. So that means that there's something else causing this. So the analogy here is, if you can imagine, imagine taking your car into a mechanic because your check engine light's on. And he comes back and says, oh, well, you're completely out of oil. That's your problem. Well, so he fills your car up with oil, but then a couple of days later, your check engine light's on and you take it back in again. He says, oh, your engine's out of oil again. Well, is your engine out of oil really the problem, or is it the hole in your crankcase that's the problem?
Right.
It's the hole in your crankcase, really, right? So all the oil's leaking out. So what we do with the body code is we ask, is there an associated imbalance that needs to be decoded? Because that's how we find the hole in the crankcase. In other words, the deeper thing. And let's ask, is there an associated imbalance we need to decode? And the answer there is yes. So to find that, what we do is we go back out to the homepage. And now we're looking for the associated imbalance, right? And so what we found, remember what we found initially was we found this disconnection, a physical disconnection going on. And now we're looking for the reason. And so is the reason or this associated imbalance, is it on the right side? It's on the left. Is it in the energies area? It is. Is it something on the left side? No. Is it an allergy or an intolerance or something emotional? It's something emotional. So we'll click on this. Is it on the left side? Is it a trapped emotion? It is. Okay. So there's different kinds of trapped emotions. Is it something on the left side of this chart? No. So is it it's just a regular common trapped emotion. So we'll just go to the emotion code chart. A common trapped emotion is a trapped emotion that happened to you between birth and now. Okay. So is this in column A? It is. We could check our work and ask, is it in column B? And that's a no. So it's in column A. Is it in one of the odd rows? See, we have 30 emotions left now out of 60 because we figured out it's not in column B, it's in column A. So now we're going to divide column A in half by asking, okay, is it in one of the odd rows? That's 1 or 3 or 5. Is it in one of the odd rows? It is. So now we have 15 emotions left out of 60. We know it's in row 1 or 3 or 5 in column A. So is it in row 1 in column A? No. So now we have 10 emotions left. Is it in row 3 in column A? No. So now we have 5 emotions left. It's got to be one of these in row 5. So it's blaming, dread, fear, horror, or peeved. Let's see which one it is. Is the emotion blaming? No. Is it dread? No. Is it fear? Yes, it's the trapped emotion of fear. Okay. So when we find a trapped emotion and we identify it, the next thing we ask is, do we need to know more about this? In other words, sometimes the subconscious mind will need us to dig a little deeper to be able to, before we can release something, okay, like a trapped emotion. So let's ask, do we need to know more about this? And actually we do. So Adam, how old are you? Can I ask you how old you are right now?
56.
56. All right. So let's see. Fear. When did this happen? That's usually all we'll need to identify is when it happened.
I'd say about 2 months, about 2 months ago.
Okay. Could be, or it could be earlier. Let's ask, did this trapped emotion become lodged in your body earlier than age 30, earlier than 40, earlier than 50, within the last year? Yeah. Okay. And you were saying something happened within the last couple of months?
Well, emotionally, I finished teaching after 30 years. And
okay.
It's very interesting that you bring up that the number 5, the kidneys and bladder, because I did the same reading for myself and I came up with the same thing, which is on target. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So let's ask, does this have anything to do with stopping teaching and facing a new future? Yeah.
New future. Yes.
And that's what I'm getting. Yep, that's what it is.
Absolutely.
Now I want you to think about this, okay? Let's release this. Is there anything else we need to know about this? No. So I'm going to release this now. I'm acting as proxy for you. So 3 swipes like so. And let's ask now, did we release that? We did. And what I want you to do is take that right arm, move it around a little bit, and let's see how your right elbow feels now compared to how it was feeling before.
More flexible.
Okay.
Different moments of pain, but more flexible.
Okay,
Yes.
good. More flexible.
Yes.
Pain-wise, how is it?
Pain wasn't there much before, only with certain movements. So I would say it's good. Maybe a
Okay.
1, 2.
Maybe a 1 or 2. Okay, good. All right, awesome. So that's basically how this works. So if you think about it, you see, when you were having that physical pain, okay, it was a 3 or 4. Well, what was causing that? Well, what was causing it was the emotional energy of fear from jumping into a new future and leaving the old situation, which was real stable and real secure, right? And
Very
now
interesting.
it's like stepping off the edge of the plank, right? Okay, well, I'm going to do this and have faith. You know, I'm going to land okay.
What's interesting is I actually read metaphysically about the right elbow, and the right elbow was fear of moving forward. And it's a perfect example of your workout. That's definitely inspirational to see exactly something, because as I said, the last 2 days I kept checking myself to see which chart it was, and it was in the number 5, and mine was in the B initially, but I probably might not have cleared it, certain energy from it, but definitely fear. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so it's so interesting because really, you know, what this is about, the emotion code, the body code, all of this work it's all about getting to the truth. See, when I was in practice, I wanted to know, I was obsessed really with getting to the underlying causes and finding out the truth about my patients, what was really wrong with them. If they were, you know, manifesting symptoms of fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue or some autoimmune disease or cancer or whatever it was, I wanted to know, why is this happening to them? Why are they manifesting these symptoms? Now, in Western medicine, they don't really care why generally. What they do is, like you were talking about earlier, they'll give you things to suppress the symptoms and really not go there, not go into the dialogue. Right. This is all about opening a dialogue with the subconscious mind. See, whenever you have any kind of a symptom going on, your body is attempting to have a dialogue with you. Hey, you feel that pain there? Well, that's because of what happened to you when you were 10 years old, when your parents got divorced. That's why you're feeling this pain. Or, you know, those migraine headaches that you have. Well, a big reason for those is the divorce that you went through, right. You know, when you were 35 years old or whatever it is. Right. And so this is how, this system is how you can open a dialogue, ask questions, get answers, get to the root causes, fix the root causes, and then get back to a point where your body's functioning and where you're healthy. And it's just, it's an amazing system. I would love to take credit for this. I'd love to take credit for this, Adam, because, you know, that's the ego part of me, but this just came through me really to the world. So it's not about me. It's about what you can do with this, right?
Well, it's definitely inspirational. You know, the fact that I did it myself and I came up with the almost same area as obviously you doing through your expertise and through your training and teaching. But the fact that I was able to come up with that and actually feel that myself, metaphysically, I knew I'm having a hard time moving forward, having been in a position of where I've been, and I'm apprehensive of which direction to go in, fearful of that. And definitely I knew from reading about it, and you pinpointed it. So that's excellent. Very, very inspiring.
Yeah, it's so much fun when you start using this and you start having results with this. And, you know, and
are there other ways other than muscle testing or through the hand gestures that you use? Yeah. Could you use a pendulum, for example?
Yeah, you can use a pendulum. In fact, I've got one in my pocket, you know, and pendulums work great. However, you know, you get answers with those. You know, for me, usually a pendulum will spin around clockwise for yes, and it'll go counterclockwise for no, and so on. And in the book, we talk about how to use a pendulum. There's lots of different methods of muscle testing. There's a method that you can use, a couple methods you can use with one hand, like this or like this. So lots of different ways to do it. But the bottom line is that the subconscious mind of every single person is absolutely, totally ready and willing to give up its answers. And now we have a way to ask the questions. So kind of fun.
Yeah, excellent. I guess people can, as I said before, access this through the computer itself, just to reiterate again, and they could also get it as a download in the App Store.
It's a subscription app. You get 30 days to try it out. It's called the Discover Healing app right now. Again, we're going to be changing the name to the Body Code app soon. But they can download it on, it'll go on iPhones and iPads and Android devices. And then once you sign up for it, then you can also use it online. Like I'm using it. This is in a browser window. And what's amazing about, let me show you some of the things that are in here. Yeah. For example, in misalignments, the subconscious mind can take you anywhere. You may have a misaligned bone in your skull, for example, and the subconscious will just take you wherever it needs to take you, and then you just click and you can read all about it. So you learn the body as you're using this. There is no other system like this really in the world. You may find that there's something nutritional going on. For example, I have to tell you, I had a patient once that came in to see me, and you see the chart of nutrients here. We have a number of these in the Body Code, and this looks just like the emotion code chart. It's the same thing, right? To find a nutrient, the subconscious mind knows what the nutrient is, so you ask questions, and it can take you there. And I'll always remember there was a woman that came in to see me when I was in practice, a young woman, about 21, 22 years old. And she had just been released from the hospital. She had been in there for 5 days, and they were trying to figure out why she had this severe pain in her abdomen. And they couldn't figure it out. They ran every test known to man, and they were all negative. And so they finally released her. So we can't find anything wrong with you. We can't help you. But she was still in pain. So she came in to see me, and I worked on her and found some trapped emotions and some other things. And one of the things that I found, I was taken to this area of nutrients and to column A, row 2, and found that she needed chromium. And I told her, I said, well, I thought it was kind of an incidental finding. And I said, we're out of chromium right now, but I think you should probably get some. Your subconscious is telling us that you need chromium. And I don't know why, but I think you need some. So anyway, I found a couple of other things, fixed those. That was about it. So she comes in the next day, and she's still actually, she's a little worse. She's about a 9.5 on a 0 to 10 scale of pain. And 10, is you go to the ER when you're a 10. Right. And so I didn't know what else to do. And so I got out the Body Code and I started testing. And I was taken out of all the thousands of possibilities. I mean, if you could print out all the information that's in the Body Code, it would be about the size of the LA phone book. Okay. There's that much information in here. But I was taken right to this page, right to nutrients, to column A, row 2, and I was taken right to chromium, asking questions of her body and getting answers from her subconscious mind. I was taken right to chromium. And only then did I remember, oh, wait, this showed up yesterday. And I said to her, listen, you must really need chromium. I said, I have no idea why, but I want you to leave my office right now, go down the street to the health food store, buy some chromium, ask for some water, open it up, take some right there. Don't even wait. Just take it right away. 20 minutes later, Adam, this woman is literally jumping up and down in my waiting room. She's a very athletic young woman. She's jumping up and down. She's saying, I'm fixed. I'm fixed. She said the instant that she took the chromium, right. Pain was gone, right? And she asked me, she said, how did that work? And I said, well, I have no idea. Yeah. I still have no idea. But I told her, I said, your subconscious mind knew that you needed chromium. I said, I don't know why it needed it. I don't know. Obviously, you were deficient, but why it was causing all that pain for you, I have really no idea. But I said, luckily, we were able to ask your internal computer, and it was able to tell us, and you were able to figure out what it was you needed. And so think about it. Is there something in your body that you need? Is there something going on that needs to be addressed? Maybe you have some kind of a toxin. Maybe you were bitten by a spider 10 years ago, and maybe that's why you still have back pain or something. And I mean, you can find these things and fix these things because this is energy medicine at its most advanced and
Absolutely.
simplest.
Absolutely.
So anyway, yeah, it's all in there, and you can find all kinds of things. You can find allergies, and you can find allergies even to ideas. You can have an idea allergy. You can be, I mean, imagine what happens if you're allergic to the idea of money, for example? Well, that could make you poor. What if your boyfriend is allergic to the idea of commitment? Well, he may never end up asking you to marry him, So anyway, it's a lot of fun, and you can find any imbalance really that's going on in the body by using this system. Yeah. And it's simple enough that kids can do it. We've had kids as young as 5 use it successfully, so you don't have any excuse really.
Yeah, it's very, very fascinating, very, very inspiring. As I said, it gives people the safety of slowly finding more and more information about themselves that they, as you said, the subconscious mind really knows, but consciously we choose sometimes to deflect or to suppress.
Sure. Yeah. That's exactly what we do. Yeah. But this system is really all about one thing. It's about finding and identifying the truth about what's really going on. See, and just unraveling that. And when you do that, symptoms go away, all kinds of things improve, people's lives transform. And so, yeah, it's a great system, and it works.
Is there anything else you'd like to leave us with in terms of the subject of the app and the book itself, or in some inspirational insight?
Well, yeah, my whole life, really, all the experiences that I have had, all the spiritual experiences that I have had, all the people that I've worked with, everything that's happened to me has prepared me to bring this work into the world, this healing work. It's incredibly powerful. It's incredibly simple, and yet can be so life-changing and so empowering. I believe that everyone, every man, every woman, every child has a birthright to actually be able to help themselves and heal their loved ones and their family members. And we're in a very, very strange world. This is a very strange planet where that somehow has been taken away from people. And we're conditioned now and programmed to believe that, for example, when you come into this world, you've got to be injected with all kinds of things to even be able to survive in this world. It's very strange. And the human body is, I believe it's God's most wonderful, most amazing creation. And we're capable of self-healing. But the biggest thing that's in the way of our ability to heal mentally and emotionally and physically is the kind of imbalances that are found in this system, in the body code, in the Discover Healing app. You can find these things. You can learn how to do this yourself. And I mean, imagine when you learn how to do this, and it's not difficult. When you learn how to do this, you'll start to see how powerful this really, truly is, and it will change your life. And, this also works at a distance, as you've seen here today.
Yes. And
when you use this system, when you use the emotion code or the body code yourself, and you're working on somebody that you care about, and maybe they're on the other side of the planet, and you help them, and maybe their pain level goes from a 9 to a 0 in 30 seconds or something. When that happens to you, your life is going to change, and it's never going to be the same ever again.
Well, actually, what's most inspiring about your work is the fact that not only the way you've put this together, but the fact that you're teaching people to take back their power by actually taking their health into their own hands rather than being reliant solely on a conventional system. And
exactly right. Yeah, that is exactly what's supposed to happen. And that was that directive that I was given on that morning in 2008. Take everything you've learned about natural healing, put it into a self-study course that anyone can learn, make it available to everyone everywhere. That's what this is. And so, yes, I mean, if you want someone to do this for you and you want to hire them, you can do that. We've got thousands and thousands of practitioners all over the world. You can go to discoverhealing.com and you can look at a map of the world and you can see a lot of these people and you can find someone there. Or you can learn how to do this yourself. And and you may decide that you want to become one of those practitioners too. So that's possible. We have that pathway available for people. Right. But really, it's not about money. It's about giving people this opportunity to be able to help themselves. And so the app itself, you can get online. It's a free 30-day trial of it, and then it's just $29 a month to have this incredible power in your pocket. It's just it really truly is the most advanced system of energy medicine that's available on the planet, and it works. And so that's all I can say. Just give this a try, or check out the Emotion Code book. If you go to our website at Discover Healing, I'll share with you here. If you go to discoverhealing.com, you can get what we call the Emotion Code Starter Kit right here, and just click the Emotion Code right here, and we'll send you, or actually, I guess what you do is you put in your first and last name and email right there. Perfect. And that's on discoverhealing.com. And then we'll send you the first 2 chapters for free. And you can start reading those chapters and see what you think. And if you want to buy the book, of course, it's available on Amazon.
I'll put those links in the description below.
Yeah, sure. And if you go to Amazon, you can see, let's see here, Amazon.com. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, you can look up the Emotion Code on Amazon and you can see the, there we go, the Emotion Code in books. Yeah, we can see we've got 3,500 reviews and it's 4.6 out of 5, 80% 5-star ratings, which is about as high as you can possibly get on Amazon, because, there's always somebody that's having a bad day. But
well, nonetheless, the work is inspiring, and your work speaks for itself. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, fun stuff. So anyway, and we've gotten rave reviews from lots of people like Joe Dispenza and Tony Robbins and Alex Lloyd and Raymond Grace, and just lots and lots of people from all over the world. So my advice is to start there. Really, if this is brand new to you, start with the Emotion Code. That's a great place to start and to learn about what this is really about and how this works. It's really easy reading. It was really a matter of prayer. When I was working on the book, every time I would write, I would pray and ask God to help me to make this simple so that anyone would be able to understand it. And so that's working. I mean, kids read the book, work on their friends, get amazing, profound results. Yeah. And I could tell you stories about that, but we don't have time.
All right. I want to thank you very much today for sharing this insightful information and spending time with me talking about this with my audience as well. And I'll be passing the information on because I definitely do find it inspiring as well as pertinent to myself and others as well. And in the times that we're going through right now, we all need to grow and to expand to help our birthing into this new world that we're living in, or we're going to be going into. So I want to thank you very much for being here today, and have a great day and a great year ahead.
Thanks, Adam. You too. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.